al-Qaeda. Anwar al-Awlaki meeting at the Pentagon. I mean, I told you that before it was in the news that he worked for the Pentagon. I know scripted bad actors when I see them. I know the MO. The CIA is good at hiring good directors to make propaganda films, but they're not good at producing them themselves. It looks like a high school play. And I saw this, and out of hundreds, and well, now it's thousands of militias, I said, that Hatari is infiltrated and is going to get set up. And then, of course, I got attacked because I hit a little close to the bone, didn't I? This type of precision is not appreciated, is it? And, of course, it's not really precision. It's like watching Laurel and Hardy. I guess that's, compared to the general public, though, that is precision, being able to find my nose. I mean, it's as plain as the nose on your face. 1 + 1 = 2. I'm a genius. I guess in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. They set him up. And I said, I'll guarantee you, of the dozen or so that have been arrested, multiple members, probably the leader or the number 2, are feds. And they'll have to drop part of the case up front to get some of them out, but then try to go after some they can trick into confessing to something they haven't done. Boom, that starts. Because I've watched it hundreds of times. Now, I'm here warning militias. If you're meeting secret and somebody's saying, let's get ready to fight the government and let's build bombs to test, that's a Fed. 99% of the time, getting ready to send you to the pen and to put it on the news that you were planning to kill people for propaganda to make police think everybody that's for the Second Amendment's their enemy. I said, why are you wearing Southeast Asian camo from the 1960s and going around calling yourself a general or an admiral because you own a bass boat? Why don't you go wear a suit and tie and declare yourself part of the civil defense militia of the Second Amendment and try to organize block captains and be mainstream and be sharp and have, that's what they're scared of. That's why they created fake militias, to act clowny on the news so that real military and police and others don't want to join it. They're absolutely scared of you doing a militia right. And when I talk about this, folks, I'll be attacked by dozens of groups. And that's when you know, oh, you're a federal operative? Okay. Because, you know, they don't want the actual blueprint they're scared of here. This is like stake in the heart of the vampires you're hearing right now. And then, yeah, if you're doing some training, then it's got to be camo specific for the area you're in instead of acting like clowns. You know, let yourself be a military history and shooting club. Things like that. Things that the Appleseed Project, getting everybody into the Second Amendment, making it a big tent, making it fun, not hiding, creeping around. The good guys aren't hiding and creeping around. The good guys are also running for sheriff to be the real leader of the county militia. The real leaders aren't acting like your secret agents hiding out. And it's like kids playing Batman and Robin, because that's what most militias do, because that's the meme that the globalist operatives put out first and through TV, which you then take on and believe is the model. So I told you they would shut down Hatari. I told you that it was completely fake. And then they released the tapes. Driving to a machine gun shootout event, contest. The Fed is prodding them about, well, what did they start arresting people? What did they do all this? Well, we'll have to defend ourselves and fight the New World Order. You know, the leader of it, who was a good guy. The evidence shows. And I mean, how many guests do we have on about, I hope it doesn't have to go to physical like our forebears? Sheriff Mack, Ron Paul, the list goes on and on. I mean, anyone having a real discussion, what do you think the American people are buying 5 million guns a month for? The national surveys say they're not getting drug off to the FEMA Center. They're not going to the Superdome. They're not taking inoculations. It ain't happening. So don't stick your hand in that badger hole. We're fighting to not get a civil war going while the scumbag bankers sit offshore. How about we just expose the bankers and start arresting them, which is beginning. That's why they're all resigning, literally 90+% the last 6 months, and running to Australia, New Zealand, Cook Islands, armored redoubts in the Virgin Islands. I mean, they're building barbed wire electrified fences with 10-man security teams there. This is on the news. Why do you think they're running to Paraguay, the Bushes and others? The globalists have committed crimes that are so ridiculous, we've started to get the upper hand. People know there's a new world order. People are buying guns. They hate the UN. They hate carbon taxes. All their hoaxes are falling. You people can't believe, though, that we could win. They can't believe that America is about winning. That's why they jack our food and water with fluoride to dumb us down, because they're scared of us. They know we've got the fighting spirit. They know everybody that came here through adversity. They know. They're afraid of us. They're so scared you're going to go to the city council and the police chief and everybody else and sweep away the ADL, Southern Poverty Law Center, demonization of patriots. They know you've got the moral authority. They know you've got the strength. They know you've got the leadership. They know you've got the courage. They know you've got it all. So they're constantly trying to set up militias, always with the same narrative of they were training to kill cops. Nobody's training to kill cops. Everybody's hoping that the cops are smart enough to not march against the American people. Everybody's hoping that we can identify the real enemy together as Americans and come together and break this trance and break the New World Order's hold over us like Nineveh did and get a reprieve. I'm fighting in the info war. I'm making zero preparation for physical because I will sacrifice myself to this system. I'm ready to be destroyed. I'm ready to be tortured. I'm ready to be imprisoned. But I am an example and a light in the night to others, and that's my job. But don't say that Paul Revere didn't ride. All of you are Paul Reveres. Instead of just waiting and polishing your guns and waiting for somebody to come and you're going to kill the first person that comes, don't do that. Reach out to people now. Get involved now. Put 100 times the energy into the info war that you've put into preparations for physical war. And for heaven's sakes, police, if you don't research this info, you're insane. Because the globalists do have on the books a planned civil war where they're just going to let us kill each other for a couple years. It's in the IMF World Bank documents. They've done it in third world countries. And then everybody will beg for martial law after that. Because of we do not need to go there. This republic can only fall from within. Heaven's sakes. So here it is. And I told you they'd set them up. I told you it would happen. I told you from the affidavits that were later released, they didn't do anything. They said, yeah, we may have to have physical, war with these criminals. I mean, I've said on air, nobody's given me a forced inoculation. Nobody's taken my kids. And I don't say that as some tough guy either. I just, as a man, have to tell you, I'm done negotiating with terrorists. I'm done. And you know what? The American people are done too. And the military is awakening at an explosive rate. But again, Hatari acquitted in federal terrorism case, but they're going to go after them, same model, firearms offenses. The guns aren't illegal. They're going to say they're illegal because they were in the commission of crime, but they've been acquitted of the crime. Watch them do the same thing they did to the Davidians. All they did was engage in their free speech that's covered under the Declaration of Independence. Why did the Philadelphia Inquirer, why did the BBC 6 months ago say, should the Declaration of Independence be banned? Is the Declaration of Independence illegal? If you think I'm joking and just tuned in, just search that. You'll get major newspapers. And they said, maybe we should ban the Declaration of Independence. It says the people have a right. When a government becomes destructive of basic human rights, we have a right and a duty to throw it off. Of course the federal government wants to ban the founding document of the country. Because you got a right to defend yourself against a tyranny. Did people have a right to defend themselves against Stalin, Mao, Hitler, Pol Pot, Fidel Castro? You bet they do. And our own media is now attacking the Declaration of Independence because they're stinking, traitor, usurper criminals. And anybody out there too stupid to not understand, now's the time to choose sides. Do you stand with George Washington and Patrick Henry? Do you stand with your ancestors and our veterans of the last 235 years? Do you stand with the Republic and common sense? Or do you stand with John Corzine, Obama, the New World Order, George Soros, the New World Order? All this open scum who's openly trying to sell poison into the veins of this country. Choose! Hello, I'm Alex Jones. Myself, my... So, how do just a few thousand globalists manipulate 7 billion people? They do it through slick propaganda and manipulation, and they do it through the population believing what they're told on the surface. So, you need the police to think of camouflage-wearing, gun-owner rednecks as terrorists when they're the salt of the earth. What do? You infiltrate the groups, get them to say stupid things on the record, and you try to set them up and call it terrorism to roll out a new war against the American people. But every time the globalists do this, because they're disconnected from reality, all it does is wake more people up. So, I told you years ago they would set up Atari. I told you that it was a setup, that they weren't guilty, but they had been foolish. And I told you they would probably be a mistrial, or they would go after them on gun charges, right on all fronts, on record. And Rob Dew's digging up all the video clips of that for the Nightly News tonight, in case you missed me predicting all of that. Now, also what I predicted, and I want to tell people out there listening, you can learn to know all this stuff too. The globalists follow handbooks. Once you learn their tricks, you know the playbook. Sometimes they throw a curveball, but that's in the playbook too. Italian newspaper. The reported shooter of the Jewish children over in France was French intelligence asset. The Jerusalem Post also confirms that Mossad was ordered to let him into Israel, and that he was basically French intelligence. No kidding. This guy's going back and forth to Afghanistan. This guy's being protected. His girlfriend said he was talking about violence. She went and warned the police. Nothing was done. I mean, folks, I can hardly travel to Europe now because of what I politically do. Aaron's girlfriend couldn't even get into the U.S. to see him because they had her in a database. No criminal record. And they said, oh, you're with Alex Jones and Ron Paul. And she's like, well, no, I'm not, but I know Alex Jones. Ron Paul sent you. And we're screaming at her. This actually happened in Chicago. But this guy can just run around everywhere he wants. The head of the 7/7 bombings, it came out even on Fox News. MI6, the underwear bomber, got on the plane by the government. Major Hassan protected by military intelligence, 2 years. This all came out. It's the same story. And I told you, I said, they're going to end up blowing him up inside there. He's going to end up dying, just like in the Madrid bombings of 2003. That it came out in the Spanish news was staged. That was confirmed. That actually backfired because the Spanish are not that naive. Got to hand it to the folks in Spain. They didn't buy it, and it came out, it was staged. They just killed some innocent patsy. Now it's come out, and this is in Associated Press, that someone else shot video of him doing the killings of the children. Of course, that's the intelligence ops, like the video of the first plane hitting the World Trade Center, and no one says who shot it. You'd think that person would be super famous, like Zapruder. No, you don't know who shot it. See, this is how they operate. And it's for Sarkozy's re-election and got him a big boost. Now it looks like he'll probably win. Dominique Strauss-Kahn got set up by French intelligence on record with a fake hooker that just came into his room as the cleaning lady. Totally made it up. We told you that was fake. This is what they're doing. And it's the same thing. They want law enforcement hating gun owners and conservatives and militias, so they stage events to demonize them. They want the French people at each other's throats, so they stage this, confirmed, all the earmarks. And then you've got the Trayvon Martin thing. They got protest here in Austin. It's all about hating white people, just like the lacrosse thing was a big setup and made up. Turned out it was all made up. It's to get everybody at each other's throats. And when I say the Trayvon Martin thing is a hoax, we don't know the truth of what happened. The point is the whole media frenzy has manufactured it. You know, you got tens of millions of blacks aborted in this country. All the rest of it, all the black leaders aren't worried about that. One guy. And I get the point that walking while black is not illegal, like driving while black. The point is that